Are there moments in your life when you ponder that perhaps by some infinitesimal quirk of fate, via a statistical anomaly in the history of time, you might have been put on this rock we call Earth to serve a purpose greater than yourself? That ah, you were chosen. This place we call Earth, when seen from the distance of space, appears as a pale blue dot, barely visible when seen from afar, as it floats through the vastness of the universe. It's not unlike the way we see Jupiter and Mars. Jupiter is bright blue at times, other times pale white. Mars red and tiny most of the time, if you can see it at all. Most of the time we can't. It's truly arrogant, presumptuous, downright delusional, if you ask some people, to assume that you happen to be on the only planet in the great grand existence of our universe where intelligent life or any life exists. Well, why you? Ask yourself that. Why you? Well, turns out there may actually be some evidence for your optimism about being so special and unique among billions. So unique, such an individual among billions on a unique planet among gazillions of planets. Oh, how special are you? But I'm not saying you aren't, I'm just asking the question. And you know what? Scientists have proposed why you may indeed be so special. And religions, most of them, are damn sure you are special. Maybe we are the lucky ones, the only ones, as Earth is, according to scientists and the clergy, a very special and unique place. The clergy tells us God created us in His image. And surely we all know God doesn't have time to be running around the universe managing several planets at the same time. Oh, the work. There's enough sinning going on here to occupy all the time of all the gods that have ever existed. What sensible God would have created another mess like this? Oh, the scientists have a more, well, scientific explanation for why we may actually be unique in the universe. It turns out that it's a simple matter of physics. After the big explosion, back in the Big Bang days, that was back before cars and stuff, shit was flying all over the place in different directions. And some shit ran into some other shit and created big balls of shit. And everyone knows that explosions are hot. Things melt. So when the melting shit got together, some of it stuck, and like the heavier shit stuck and formed a ball of molten iron. And the lighter shit just hung on for dear life. Whoa, we're moving on. Hang on! Forming a rocky crust around the ball of iron as the whole shitty mess sailed through space. Can you imagine that? Oh! And that's how we got Earth. It was a frightened, rocky crust clinging on to a molten iron ball. Now, some people blame gravity. That may be true. Just another explanation. So the bottom line, though, is Earth is just a shell of rock wrapped around of molten iron core. And the core, all molten, melted, is spinning inside. Now, Earth is spinning, but there's some more spinning going on. So it's like complex, interrelated spinning. I don't know how to explain that shit. And when you spin a big chunk of iron in space or anywhere else, you get a strange effect. There's a magnetic effect that scientists say may have made us the lucky ones. Ha. Now, space, where all this is happening, space is not a safe place. Out there, pulsing across the dark vastness of nothingness, are death rays of radiation and tiny particles that will shoot right through you and turn you into a cancerous clump of disgusting human flesh. Just like that. Die! But due to a rare combination of that magnetic effect of the iron ball and the crust hanging on for dear life, and a fortuitous, that means lucky in case you didn't know, fortuitous, a fortuitous distancing of our pale blue dot from the nearest ball of nuclear fire, our sun, the radiation death rays and particles, which kill everything in their paths, are deflected. Deflected. That means pushed over there, pushed aside. And so they are deflected from our little home here on Earth. And the scientists tell us that it is statistically unlikely that the circumstances that created Earth have ever occurred elsewhere, and in all likelihood will never occur again. Ever again. I don't know how they know that, but I'm going to take their word for it. I like to think I'm special. Now, our planet may be very special, and we may, in fact, be the only ones alive in the universe. Look at the sky. How special are you now? Nothing out there. It's all dead. Just you. So, if you are so special, what are you going to do about it? Are you ready to serve a cause greater than yourself? An extra large, super jumbo cause. Do you feel special? Maybe you have a calling. Maybe there is a calling and you've been called. Not on the phone. No, not that. Put that society-killing iPhone down. In fact, throw it off a bridge in a dark Louisiana bayou into a muddy body of water where killers toss their guns after the guns have served their purposes. Has anyone ever wondered? Anyone who's watched these YouTube divers that dive under bridges in muddy swamps? Why exactly is it that the divers emerge from the muddy waters with an almost equal number of guns and iPhones? Well, I've wondered. How did those iPhones get there? In the same swamp as the guns. Nobody swims in gator-infested muddy swamps. And there's not a lot of skiing and boating going on there. And who skis with an iPhone? Even if they were daredevil skiers jumping over gators. How did those iPhones get there? People who throw guns in swamps don't use iPhones as burner phones, and everyone knows gators don't qualify for the 72-month payment plan to get an iPhone. So how did those iPhones get there? Well, call me optimistic, but maybe some decent people realized the damage being done by this fixation on megapixels and this app and that app and Facebook and iNarcissist.com that the iPhone 10 million enables. Oh, you need one now. Rush to your iPhone store. And these people that realized the damage being done, they decided to chuck the iPhones into the swamps with the other weapons. Maybe you've had these thoughts. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. Maybe you have even chucked a society killing iPhone into the muddy waters yourself. If so, you might have been called, so to speak, to a jumbo-sized purpose in life. You might not just be another neighbor running over the cat with the lawnmower while texting. You might not be the woman in the business suit walking across the street, paying no attention to anything around her while texting away on the society killer and walking in front of a bus. Splat! Maybe you're even destined for greatness. You in all of the universe. Oh, and here comes the pain. Reminds me of Princess Bride. The pain. Here comes the moment of self-awareness. Can you stand up at the meeting to which you've been called, and say, my name is, and I am, well, so maybe you've realized you've spent too much time watching porn videos and posting on inarcissist.com. Maybe you're aware that you texted too many pictures of tacos al pastor and fettuccine alfredo to all your friends who really don't give a shit. They just want to one up you. Yeah, that's the way it works. They just want to one up you with exotic pics of plant burgers and kale sandwiches. Doesn't that sound delicious? Fuck. Oh, give me some cockroaches. Oh, you must have thought, if I am one of the saved, damn! All that time wasted. And if you've come to those conclusions and you haven't acted, meaning your phone is not resting under a gator in a muddy swamp, it might be your time now. Imagine this scenario, which was related to me by a close friend. Imagine this is your revelation day, and it may be. You might reflect here. Imagine this. One day, a few weeks after buying yourself and your daughter the iPhone 1 million, you found yourself walking through the mall, going to the iPhone store to stare at the new model, the iPhone 1 zillion. Imagining how much better life could be. If only I could qualify for the 72-month payment plan on that. I am so pathetic. We only have the iPhone 1 million. My daughter must be humiliated. And as you walked along, past the See's Candy Store and the Burger King, you looked around and saw 100 young girls in short skirts on benches, staring into iPhone screens, as if the mall didn't exist. But it did, like every other public space. Schools, streets, boutiques, planes, trains, and automobiles. Birthday parties, weddings, football games, intimate dates between two people sitting at a table in a restaurant. Breakfast at Denny's while your daughter let her tofu and spinach omelet get cold as she texted someone who, all those places, same behavior, fucked up kids. And that explains why the 100 teen girls in their short skirts with their iPhones were there on the benches at the mall. Look at me. Well, that didn't sound like a girl's voice. Look at me. Millions. I have millions of friends, and I have no time for this petty human interaction thing. Just worship me, please. Oh, please, oh, oh, pretty please. And we all know the truth about teens in short skirts, sitting on benches at the mall while staring at iPhone screens. We've raised some fucked up kids because of iPhones. We got weak and lazy, and we bought the iPhone nanny. That's what it is. Like the tired parent that puts the toddler in the chair and plants the chair in front of the TV. Sure, we all need a break. Yeah, put that crying little motherfucker over there. Get him out of here for a while. But there comes a day when the toddler is done with the TV. Give me an iPhone. And you did it. Well, admit it. You failed. You raised up a fucked up kid. Some people like to use the word spoiled. I think it's worse than that. And many people did raise the fucked up kid. Apple makes a business out of making sure that happens with this app and that app and all the other apps. But not all parents failed. Some kids can handle it. But enough can't that the societal cohesion reaped from constant human to human interaction, that intimacy that it takes to develop compassion and empathy and make a world work, just ain't there. Foobar. Destruction is often a process. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it's near instantaneous. The Roman Empire took a couple hundred years to fall. During World War II, it only took 4 years to destroy Europe. Hiroshima, milliseconds. Then melted kids were hanging from the melted jungle gyms. What about now? Well, we've been handing our kids weapons of mass self-destruction for 10, 15, 20 years at most. And we are quickly sliding down the slippery slope into a pit of societal chaos. Yes, we are. For example, you think racism would have made a comeback without the iPhone? Pshaw. The iPhone is a racism enabler. We had put that rabid dog down. Racism. Yeah, we'd put that down. But here we are again. High tech, amass the child army and arm them with iPhones and a complete oblivions? I don't even know if that's a word. To the people around them. Yeah, just buy the new phone. Buy, iPhone 1 million and text. Yeah, all right. We're happy. We made a profit. And you know what? All screen time plus no real time equals no empathy, no understanding, and no way to know. We all just want the same things out of life. Happiness, a good education, a good job, a family, good friends, some barbecued ribs, and a beer once in a while, and to be proud of how we interact with the people in our lives. Now, maybe the vegetarians don't want the ribs. Maybe they want one of them, their plant burgers. I can't understand that. I say, give me a steak. Get that plant burger out of my, move it. Yeah, well, but we all want happiness. But these kids are struggling to recognize the common humanity of us all. That wasn't a problem 20 years ago. Now, how did this happen? Who raised these kids? Short skirts, benches at the mall, and iPhones. And what happens next? Would you like some cotton candy, little girl, and a ride home in my van? You look important. Who are you texting? Yeah, this isn't just about destroying civil society. It's about providing a context for delusional thinking for our children, and thus endangering our children. Uh, do you have a cell phone charger in your van? Hmm. And at that very moment, you were walking through the mall and noticed the 100 girls in short skirts staring at their iPhones. You paused with a 10,000-mile stare off into the distance, pondering the situation. How did this happen to our kids? And you just happened to be facing the Victoria's Secret window where they sell short skirts and where they display those lingerie bras and panties, adorning the super sexy mannequins with impossible tits. And your 10,000-mile stare wanders off into the infinity of space just a little more. How did this happen to our kids? But the people that walk by during your infinite stare into the barrenness of your iPhone soul misperceived you and your stare. Fucking pervert, get a room! Wham! You're shaken from the coldness of your meaningless taco texting existence, and you look around at the mothers shading their children's eyes from the pervert eyeing the Victoria's Secret mannequins as they scurry by you over to the iPhone store to buy their 5-year-olds some iPhones. And then, only then, you pull out that iPhone out of your back pocket. You hold it up close to your face. And you look at it closely and you stare and you wonder, what damage done? How many years of real life did I sacrifice to this? And what have I done to my daughter? How many years of my daughter's life have I ruined? And then you lament the loss of time with friends and family. And maybe just as bad, you do the math. Oh, with all those hours, I could have studied. I could have excelled at something, anything I chose. Well, that was my friend's experience. And speaking personally, for me, having made the same horrific mistake for a number of years, for me, I could have been excelling at my true calling, which is music. And I didn't realize the compromise until the other night when I was listening to an old 60s band that most kids don't know about. It's called Three Dog Night. Three Dog Night. I didn't have to go to the mall and see the 100 girls in their short skirts sitting on the benches staring at their iPhone screens. I just heard the song and it brought back memories. And my immediate response was to share the song. And you know what I did? Instead of sharing the song with the real people living right around me, I got online and shared it with my million friends. What a fucking idiot. So, though I have definitely wasted years, even decades, not just on the phones, but on other stuff, it may not be too late. We can hope. Yeah, we can always have hope. And the song by Three Dog Night reminded me I have another important figure in my life besides my family. I'm an animal lover, and I have a one-eyed dog. My one-eyed dog is named Rex. He's a little unusual as far as dogs go. I got him as a rescue, and I had no idea what kind of talents he had and what was going to happen and how the relationship would develop. But man, oh, how lucky am I? Rex plays the piano. One-eyed dog playing the piano. And we jam sometimes. It's really cool. And we talk. And after I explained to him the tremendous sadness and regret I felt for having wasted so much of my life texting taco pics and kale salad pics and those damn bean dip pics as I was performing ludicrous acts of PDA while leaning across the table at Mexican restaurants and slipping a bean dip filled tortilla chip into my wife's mouth. I lamented about that. My one-eyed dog consoled me. He told me, "Hey, you have always had a way with words and lyrics, and sometimes you make me bark, in a funny way. Let's write some songs and just enjoy the remaining days of your pathetic post-Apple apocalypse life. Throw that thing in the river where all the other lethal weapons end up, and let's paw out a song or two." Huh, fuck. Who knew my one-eyed, piano-playing dog would save me from the exploitative, superficial, 1 million friends electronic age? Well, we wrote one song. So far, we have an agenda, and we're not going to let up. And we've decided to start a band. And Rex suggested we call it Apple Anonymous. I think Rex is more pissed off than I am. In part 2 of this message to a damaged society, we will play that song. Ruff, ruff.